8 days. That's all it took for an anime to bring me to tears in 2025, and craziest of all, 20 minutes before that happened, I had never heard of it. Today, I not only want to, but need to talk about what could be the first gem of 2025, and that is Honey Lemon Soda. Yes, that's actually the title, and it being silly is the main reason I decided to give it a shot. I do love my dumb titles, and guess what? Despite having zero expectations, it paid off. This one centers around Ishimori, a schoolgirl with goals of making friends at her new high school. But there's one issue: she's extremely shy. They demonstrate this immediately when she's accidentally splashed with lemon soda, and then she's the one who apologizes as if that's her fault. When she shows up to class in gym clothes, she's self-conscious she's the only one wearing them and hopes the teacher doesn't call her out for it. As a less than outgoing person myself, I could totally put myself in her headspace and feel the anxiety she's feeling. The teacher does bring up the gym clothes, except it's the guy who splashed her with lemon soda, Miura. He didn't actually get any on himself, he just did it to make her feel better. So right away, I know two things. I'm fully behind Ishimori and rooting for her, and Miura is going to be awesome. If you've seen Bocchi the Rock, this series gives off some of those vibes, and Ishimori has some Goto in her. That was a nice gesture, his friends are kind, and Ishimori decides to take a leap of faith and put herself out there. You can see how difficult it is for her to do so, but that's why she came here after all. Ishimori wants to do her best. She uses her studious nature to help Ayumi in an attempt to make friends. Did she just make her first one? Fingers crossed. Right when you think so, her past comes rearing back. At her old school, she was bullied for how quiet and unexpressive she was. They called her Stony. When Miura's friends invite her to hang out, right on cue, some of those bullies from middle school show up and do what they do best: treat her like shit. In middle school, the only thing she had going for her was her grades. She was set to go to an elite high school, but when it came time for exams, she froze and she didn't pass. From the outside looking in, her being here means she's a failure, something many can relate to feeling. No wonder this girl's self-esteem is completely shot. At every turn, Miura has seen Ishimori struggle to the point that it's totally unrealistic, but I don't care, I love it anyway. He's rough around the edges, but he has a kind heart. When the bullies throw her shoes in the trash, he approaches and tells her, when things like this happen, ask for help. And she heartbreakingly says, "Ask who?" before running away. She doesn't have anyone she trusts or feels close enough to turn to. Even if those people do exist, she doesn't have the confidence to ask. It turns out the actual reason she joined this school in the first place is because when she was at her lowest, before they knew each other, Miura had bumped into her and told her, "This uniform suits you. She isn't a failure. This is where she wanted to be." The next day, the bullies get in her face again, but Ishimori keeps trying to push forward. She's prepared now. She grabbed her own bottle of lemon soda and sprays them with it, a direct callback to how Miura had stood up to different bullies earlier. Then this asshole shoves her to the ground, and let me tell you, I was raging. Miura stands there and says, "Do what I told you to do yesterday." She remembers that as she'd passed him running away, he'd said "me" in response to her question, "Ask who?" Eyes full of tears, he guides her syllable by syllable, another direct callback, and she says, "Help me." And man, did that hit me hard. Miura didn't even do anything badass or drastic, but the simple fact that she had the courage to trust him and that he had her back, that turned the waterworks on. What I loved about this episode is in 20 minutes, not only did it get me completely invested in their stories going forward, but it basically told a complete story itself. This might sound weird, but it reminded me of Chainsaw Man episode 1 in that way. I was stunned it wasn't an extended first episode by how fleshed out everything felt. Ishimori's character arc of finding strength within herself legitimately felt like a season-long payoff, and it came in episode 1. I can't wait to see where this goes next, but so far, it's 2025's first gem. With that, I'm out.